Have you and your daughter ever had one of those days? You know the kind. Everything you say gets on her nerves, and everything she says grates on yours. My name is Christy Brooks, and this is my lovely daughter, Brennan. One day, Brennan and I were having one of those days. We were just arguing all day long. Being a counselor, I wanted to make sure she understood that I loved her very much, and us arguing was something that is developmentally normal. So I told her that many girls and their moms argue more frequently during the preteen and teenage years because the girls are trying to exert their independence. And the moms, well, we're trying to hold on to our little girls. I assured her that no matter how much we fought, I loved her very much, and that many times the relationship improves again as the girl gets older. I must have made an impression because a couple of nights later, as we snuggled together before she went to bed, she looked at me very serious-like. She said, "Mom, let's skip all that stuff." "What stuff, honey?" "You know, where we fight a lot and I don't want to hang around you for a few years. Let's just skip that stuff and stay friends." Then she hugged me tighter. It was at that moment that I realized she was right. Let's do skip all that stuff. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that we're never going to fight, but our relationship doesn't have to be characterized by turmoil. We can connect. We can communicate. We can enjoy being around each other. And I can prepare her for the future in the process. I have such a short time before she leaves the nest for college or marriage or a career. If I'm going to connect with my daughter, it needs to be intentional and it needs to be now. As I was thinking and praying about the need to connect with my daughter and prepare her for her future, a passage from Genesis jumped out at me. In Genesis 41, Joseph is brought from prison to interpret Pharaoh's dreams. God revealed to Joseph that he intended to bring 7 years of abundance to the land of Egypt. Crops would be plentiful and all would be good. After those 7 years, though, would be 7 years of famine. If the people of Egypt were to survive the 7 lean years, they would need to gather food from the good years and preserve it. I did the math. My daughter has exactly 7 years at home before she goes to college. Just like the Egyptians, I have 7 years to gather up treasures to store in her heart before the potentially lean years come. 7 years. Only 7 years. There is so much I want to teach my girl. So much I want her to know and to learn from the safety of my home. I only have 7 short years to gather treasures from her head to her toe. So how am I going to use those years? How are you going to use the years you have left with your own daughter? How can we decide what treasures our girls are going to need the most as an adult and make sure they are stored up inside them now so they can draw from them when the need comes? Hang with me and I'll tell you. In the next 2 videos called Gathering Treasures from Head to Toe, I'm going to share with you what God laid on my heart that Brennan needs from me and what your daughter needs from you to be prepared for her future. Leave your name and email below, and I will send you a link to the videos that show how we can wisely gather and store up treasures for our precious girls from their head to their toe.